So you love Tango, and you've probably either survived a Tango marathon or you're getting ready for your first one. It's an absolutely incredible experience, right? But let's be honest, it's also a serious physical challenge. Today, we're going to talk about how to not just get through a marathon weekend, but to actually thrive, all by changing the way you think about preparing for it.
So let's just ask the question right up front. Can your body really handle more than 30 hours of dancing in just one weekend? I mean, when you say it out loud, it sounds pretty extreme, because it is. This isn't just a casual dance night, it's a full-on endurance event. And if you go into it without being prepared, you're basically asking for an injury.
And that risk, it's not a small one. The National Institute of Health found that at least half, that's 50%, of all sports-related injuries come from simple overuse. Just think about that for a second. All those pivots, all those anchos, hour after hour on a body that's getting more and more tired. Yeah, that's a classic overuse situation just waiting to happen.
So what do we do about it? Well, the solution really starts with a shift in your mindset. You've got to start seeing yourself as an artistic athlete. I love this term because it perfectly captures what dancers do. You have all the creativity and grace of an artist, but you need the strength and power of an athlete to support it. To protect that art, you got to build that body.
And that brings us right to phase 1, athletic preparation. You know, surviving a marathon doesn't start on Friday night when the first tanda kicks off. Nope, it starts weeks, maybe even months beforehand with smart, focused training that builds a body that's truly ready for what's coming.
This quote just says it all, doesn't it? Dancers are athletes, so they should train like athletes. It's so simple, but so true. We often don't think of our training in the same way a runner or a swimmer does. But to dance longer and stay healthier, we absolutely have to adopt that athletic approach to getting our bodies in shape.
And a big part of that is rethinking what cross-training really means. A lot of us dancers do things like yoga or Pilates, and don't get me wrong, those are fantastic. But they're also very similar to the movements we already do in dance. Real cross-training is about working on your weaknesses by doing something different. That means adding in things like resistance training to build real strength and some low-intensity cardio to build up the endurance you're going to need for that 3 a.m. tanda.
So what does that actually look like at the gym? Well, here are a few game changers. Single-leg deadlifts, amazing for your balance and for strengthening those hamstrings. Planks and other core work give you that rock-solid axis we're all after. And this is so important. Strengthening your hips and ankles protects everything up the chain, from your back right down to your feet, which, let's face it, take a serious beating.
And hey, let's bust a really common myth while we're at it. You know how people hold a stretch for like 30 seconds before they do something? Turns out that kind of static stretching right before you dance can actually make you less powerful. What you really want to do is dynamic stretching, stretching that involves movement. It warms up your muscles and gets you ready for the real work of a milonga.
Okay, so you've done all the prep work. Now you're finally at the marathon. This is phase 2, marathon survival. This is all about the strategies you use in the moment, how to manage your energy, reduce wear and tear, and stop injuries before they even start during that wild weekend.
I want you to think about this for a second. What do you actually do in those few precious hours between, say, the afternoon milonga and the big one at night? If you're just crashing on the bed and hoping for the best, you're missing a huge opportunity. That break is a critical window for active recovery, and having a real strategy can make all the difference in the world.
Here is a super simple but incredibly powerful recovery checklist. First, get your feet up. Elevate them above your heart for about 15 minutes. It feels amazing and helps reduce all that swelling. Second, throw on some compression socks. They're great for boosting circulation. And third, hydrate, hydrate, hydrate. Water is your best friend. It helps your body manage all that physical stress. See? This isn't just resting. This is actively repairing your body.
So the marathon's over, the music is faded, but we're not quite done. Phase 3 is all about smart recovery and playing the long game. This is how we structure our whole year, not just for one big event, but for a long, healthy, joyful life in Tango.
So let's borrow a concept from the world of pro sports. It's called periodization, which is just a fancy word for planning your year in cycles. You've got your preseason, where you build up your strength. Then you have your in-season, where you might ease up a bit before a big marathon. After that comes a post-season for rest, and then an off-season to build up your base fitness again. This whole approach prevents burnout and makes sure you're at your best when it counts.
And how we think about rest is a huge part of this.
A rest day doesn't mean you just lie on the couch and do nothing. It's not a rot day. In fact, studies show that active rest, like going for a nice walk or doing some gentle yoga, is actually way more effective. It helps your muscles recover faster and, believe it or not, actually speeds up your progress.
So when you put this all together, what are we really talking about? We're talking about a fundamental shift. It's about moving away from just focusing on the next performance and toward a long-term philosophy of health and sustainability. It's about building a body that can support your passion, not just for one marathon, but for a whole lifetime of dancing.
And that really just leaves us with one final question to think about. Are you training for your next tanda, your next festival, or are you training for a lifetime of them? Thinking and training like an artistic athlete is what's going to make sure that your last dance is many, many years from now.